As soon as I knew the gospel, I asked the Lord to give me the honor to share it to my family. In Mark 16:15, Jesus told the apostles, "Go all into the world, sharing the good news of salvation." This is the way how I share the good news, through my gift. But God is not just looking for guitar players or guys with a heavy accent. He's looking for anyone. And the Lord gave you your own gifts. You don't have to fly to Mongolia or China to share the gospel. People around you, your neighborhood, they don't know the Lord. So I'm nobody to tell you this, but I used to be a Christian of a Sunday. All week involved in my business as a musician. And going to church on Sunday just for an hour. But I came to the point to understand that relationship with the Lord is to serve Him 24/7. Be involved in some ministry, using your gifts for the Lord, making the difference in this world. We know the ending is coming soon. I don't know the date. Some people know the date, but I don't know the date. But we know this coming soon. For so many years, I was witnessing to my dad. You know, all the time when I was mentioning the Lord to my dad, he was very defensive. He used to say that he was a good man, that he is in peace with God. He was not going to bars or cheating on mom. He used to say that all religions lead to heaven, that all you have to do is be a good person in order to go to heaven. For many years. The last 6 years, even my relationship with him were more deteriorated because I was trying to force him to understand that in order to get God's grace, it's important to humble ourselves and admit that we need salvation. I told my wife that instead to continue speaking to him, we were going to pray for him because we don't have the power to change people. All we can do is pray for them. So we start many years to pray for my dad. My dad was an incredible man, but he was very proud. 4 years ago, I was in Singapore, and my mother called me 3 a.m. in the hotel. And she told me that my father passed away. I miss my father. I saw a photo on Facebook today that one of my sisters put it today. And I had tears in my eyes because I miss him a lot. But the second part of the news that my mom told me, that 3 days before he died, he called one of my friends, pastors in Ecuador and Quito. And he surrendered his life to the Lord, and he got baptized in the living room of his home. So I do know that I'm going to see my father in heaven, but not because he was a good man. Not because he was not cheating or stealing, or because in the end of his life he confessed that he needed the Lord. You see, without Jesus is nothing there. Without the cross, it's no gospel, it's no good news. And that was so difficult to my dad and so many people to understand. That in order to get saved, we need to ask salvation. We need to receive it by faith. And why I'm telling this in Father's Day? Because all you have to do is pray for your people. God can change people. I was forcing to my dad in the beginning. I was desperately saying, Dad, you're an old man. You can die tomorrow. You need to humble yourself. And I understood that at some point that I was forcing him, that I was imposing something. And he and his proudness was not accepting. So instead of force somebody, all you can do is pray to the Lord, that the Lord and the Spirit of God come upon them and make them understand and believe that Jesus is the only way. Because great is thy faithfulness. I have a wonderful surprise. I would love to invite my dear brother Jim, and I'm going to ask him to tell you this story about the last night. I've been speaking too much, so my little computer is a little tired, so I'm going to allow him to tell you the story about the last night.
In a word. Okay. So, I'm on my way to St. Pete yesterday. I have a job. I'm playing a wedding down there at the yacht club in St. Petersburg. And so I'm on the phone texting, I'm on the phone calling Rodrigo and saying, hey, when you fly in, blah, blah, blah. And so we were talking. I said, hey, I'm heading down to St. Pete. I've got a gig tonight. And he goes, well, I'm flying into St. Pete. I said, really? Okay. And what time? He says, well, 10:30. I said, well, my job's done at 11. He says, well, the car rental place closes at 10:30, and I need to get it real quick. And I said, well, great. You'll get your car. I'll finish my job. I'll come over. I'm 13 and a half miles from the airport. I'll come meet you, and we'll drive back to Orlando. He was, really tired. He didn't really want to have to sit and think too much about getting back. And then sometime through the gig, I'm getting some text messages saying, well, I'm not going to board. He was supposed to fly out at 9, right? So supposed to fly at 9. Well, I'm not going to board till now. The flight's not going to leave till 11:30. What? And so we go on and everything, and finally, I make a long story short. I said, well, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll help you. He says, obviously he wasn't going to make the 10:30 or get his. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. He wasn't going to be able to get his rental car. There we go, because it was going to close up at 11. Well, I said, well, no big deal. I'll just drive you back to Orlando. You can get a rental car when tomorrow when you get back to Orlando. And so we get to Orlando. Actually, no, we don't, because he's not even there yet. He was supposed to board at 9 o'clock. Long short. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. I am so tired. Okay, so what happens? Long story short, he finally boards the plane at 1:15 in the morning. 2:15. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. 2:15. And I thought it was 1:15 because Allegiant didn't have a flight plan filed. They couldn't take off, and so they didn't take off until 2:30, and he finally landed at 3:45, and at 3:45 I'm sitting there, and we finally get our stuff and we drive back to Orlando. 6:30 in the morning I drop him off after breakfast at IHOP. Oh boy! So I get back home. I fall asleep at 7:30, and we're here. So sorry.
All I want to say is Jim is a wonderful brother. I want to thank him because he was sleeping in the car, and we drove from Tampa, so we arrived like 6:30 in the morning. And it's just I want to thank you, brother, for your beautiful heart. And I know I respect Jim because he's a great musician. But I admire more his love for the Lord. That is more valuable for me. That is more important even than talent. So we're going to play a hymn together. We didn't have too much time to practice. But playing with him is a wonderful honor for me because he's such a great musician. We practice for 10, 15 minutes. So if we do wrong, please forgive us. Beautiful. I'm going to invite my dear brother Raul now. He's going to join us. Little by little, we're going to be growing the ensemble. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Praise the Lord. That was something, huh? A year ago, A lady from Cincinnati, Ohio, left a voicemail in my phone. She introduced herself, and she was asking me if I will fly from South Carolina. This is the place I live, Greenville, South Carolina. I'm learning to say hi y'all, little by little. I love the place. It's beautiful, South Carolina. Remind me to Ecuador, a lot of hills and trees, a lot of green. So she was saying that if I will consider to fly to Cincinnati and play the guitar for her 15-year-old boy that was dying with bone cancer. And you know, being part of the ministry, I told her that I would love to do that. So I flew to Cincinnati, and I met Corey. He was very ill, tumors all over his little body. That was a very difficult thing for me to do because I have my own boys, and he was in such a pain. After 45 minutes that I played for Corey, he was also a guitar player. So somebody gave him one of my CDs. And in the morning, he was asking, Mom, play that CD. That's why Mom asked me to come and play for Corey. After 45 minutes to play for him, I came to his bed, gave him a kiss on his forehead, and I told him, Corey, say hello to Jesus for me. He smiled to me, and he told me I will. He died 2 months later. I went to ministry to Corey family, but they ministered to me. Because one of the difficult roles in my entire life been to be a father. I always complaining to God. God, just give me the perfect children. How can I ask that if I am not a perfect father? A few years ago, I was touring California, and I came home. And my precious daughter ran away. I was angry with God. I was resentful with Him. I was questioning Him, why? Why me? My relationship with my daughter was deteriorated because me, instead to act as a godly father, I act as a very ugly judge, bringing justice to my pride. So when I complain for all these problems that I call problems in my life, and when I saw Corey's mom and dad, their peace and the joy of the Lord in their faces, I understood that God, even in times like that, is in control. I understood that anything that God allowed to happen in our lives is not to torture us or make fun of us. It's just to teach us that even in painful times, He is in control. And that spoke